Hey, good morning, everybody. It is the 3rd of December, 2024, and it's 7:02 a.m. here in beautiful Quartzsite. Let's adjust that. That's not what I meant to do. Tap that. Do this. That's what I meant to do. Sorry about that. And the weather it's 43 degrees here and going to be a high of 76 today with totally sunny skies. And as I look across the next 10 days, all I see is a big round sun on every single day. There are a couple days that have a little tiny cloud in the corner. I'm going to call that all sunny days through the 17th of December. Like that's the week before Christmas. And I'm seeing 70 to 73. There are a couple of cool days in the mid to low 60s, but 60s and 70s. And as I flip through and I look at the wind, I see maybe one windy day coming up next a week from today. It looks like that's the first kind of windy day that I see. And here's what I mean by windy. I mean sustained winds at 14 miles per hour by 3 in the afternoon. It doesn't last long. Afternoon, it goes from 10 to 10 up to 14 down to 10. It's going to be a little bit windy day. Then the next day is also kind of windy. So we got sounds like on those 2 days, the 9th and the 10th, there's a little bit of a front coming in. And I think that the temperatures are dropping, so it gets windy. It always gets windy for a day or two when a big front comes through. But that's okay. That's just fine. The vast majority of the weather going forward, it's amazing. So I'm back in Quartzsite. Those of you that watched yesterday saw I was up in Lake Havasu staying with my friend Daryl. And Daryl was with me. And I already miss that. I already miss having somebody that can talk to. There's Dottie right there, but Dottie doesn't have the back and forth that Daryl and I have. So let's go with the comments. And the first few are on my positive news video, and it wasn't a news story. It's something I made up. It was called 1960s Nostalgic Christmas. I was talking about the toys and things that got me really excited when I was a kid in the 1960s, and I thought for folks my age that might bring back some good memories. M. Campbell says, the old light bright toy just used a regular light bulb. I was saying it looked like little LED things, but what was I saying? There were no LEDs in the 1960s. The old light bright toy just used a regular light bulb. I bet they have a current version that uses LEDs. You put a black paper pattern over it and punch through the paper with transparent multicolored plastic pegs to make the pattern glow. It gave an LED effect, but real LEDs weren't a common or affordable thing until many years later. I haven't thought about old toys like that in years. LEDs, I saw a documentary, and LEDs, when they were invented, they were like red and green, I think, but they couldn't figure out how to do blue. And you needed blue to mix all those together to make a white light. So they were only used like in the front of stereos and stuff like that, indicator lights. There was no such thing as an LED light bulb because they couldn't make white light. And this guy, I think in China, correct me if I'm wrong, China or Japan, spent years lots of people over the world, scientists were trying to, and engineers were trying to create a blue one. And he finally made it and did it. And I think it came out in the 90s. So that the creation of blue allowed for white light, combining all those colors together, created white light and also blue. And it just in all different shades and styles, and things exploded, I think, in the 90s. Nancy asked a really good question. Rob, what was your favorite stocking stuffer? Hers was Cracker Jack. I don't remember. I remember being excited about the stocking. It was full of stuff, but I for the life of me, I cannot remember a single thing that was in a stocking. And I've been thinking about it since yesterday, since I saw that comment. Philip Willems, hey, your video says 1060s instead of 1960s. That's the kind of constructive feedback I need. When I have a typo in the title, or I've uploaded the wrong video, or there's no sound, or the sound is just, something's very wrong. I need to know that right away. So I immediately went out, Philip. I'm sure maybe you noticed, maybe you didn't. I immediately corrected. Instead of 1060s Nostalgia Christmas, it says 1960s. It happens. You can delete this comment if you correct it. Not being mean, just pointing it out. I miss things on my videos at times too. No, there's nothing mean about pointing out a simple mistake. I make mistakes all the time. Holy mackerel, there's... I think somebody says, hey, your GPS says Daryl's address in the background. You should go and take that out. No one's going to stalk Daryl. And if they did, they'd be pretty sorry. So actually in the film, you can see the street and the street number when I drive up. So it's not a big secret. But thank you, whoever's... Well, we'll get to that. We'll thank that person. There was a person that saw that unknowingly I flashed a credit card with all the information on it on screen. And he caught it within 5 minutes of me publishing. I was able to go in there, take it offline, blur that out. So yeah, stuff like that, where I've obviously made kind of, or if I state something as a fact and you know it to be, hey, that's not true, Rob. I'd appreciate it when you do that. If you can give me the source I can go to look at it. I'm glad to be corrected on factual errors, mistakes on my videos. I welcome it. I count on you guys to have my back, and so many of you do. So I appreciate that. More Adventure says 1060s. Holy shnikes. That's a long time ago. I remember Christmas like it was yesterday. All I wanted was a wheel made out of stone. Anywho, if you see Eric Jacob, say I said, what's up? Eric Jacob is his nomadic fanatic, and he's camped over there, a ways away. I can see his bus from here. Drummer, anybody remember Johnny West? It was along the lines of a G.I. Joe, but had a Western theme. He had a holster and guns and a Western hat and vest, all removable. He had a horse with a saddle. You can make him ride. Man, that was great. Hours of fun there. I don't remember Johnny West. I remember Johnny Quest. That was a cool cartoon. And his buddy Haji. Nancy Menderos. On the so I did the long-term video was my trip to Lake Havasu. I showed you the road between Parker and Lake Havasu, not from here to Parker because you've seen it more than once and it's pretty friggin' boring. But this was spectacular. And agree that Havasu Drive is very beautiful. I was amazed the first time I drove through. That's Nancy Menderos. I was amazed too. On Nostalgic Christmas, Ken Gray said lovely memories. On Havasu, Tony Labella. Basha's is a very nice market. Go check it out. You won't be disappointed. As I drove by, I saw this supermarket called Basha's. I'm like, I've never heard of that. And it looked sleek and big and like a regular sized grocery store. I guess it's a regional chain. I'd never seen it before. So on Havasu, Ken Gray says, I could not find anything about Buckeye Mountain State Park, just Buckeye Hills, which does not have camping. Interesting. Because I saw the sign. It said Buckeye Mountain State Park. I thought. Maybe not. Maybe you look in the video, there's probably a sign on the road. I did that thing again where I put my action camera, this bad boy here. Where is it? This is my Action 5, DJI Action 5, and I mount it on a rig, on a suction cup on the hood of my car, so it's just got this clear view. And yeah, it has a protective plastic thing over the lens there, and if it gets cracked or something, I can replace it. Okay, and CLLEW, what a nice place. Loved your other brother Daryl. Loved the Jeep ride also. Yeah, Daryl. Daryl's a veteran, and he's had multiple surgeries, and he just had one on his ankle. And he's usually in a beautiful Class A, and he's usually camping down here. But He's still recovering from the latest surgery, so he's had to rent like an Airbnb house in Lake Havasu, and that was the beautiful place. And yeah, there's a nice pool and a hot tub, and I availed myself of the hot tub that night before. That was great. Not a lot of hot tubs out here in the desert. Okay, we have on the comment video with Daryl, Gold Ray says, "Wow, can't believe you're into month 13 already. Good video, Rob." Okay, so this was another mistake. Instead of 12/2/24, it was 13/2/24. From Ohio, where it's 20 degrees, and Philip Williams says, "Just left Mansfield area day before Thanksgiving. It was just in the nick of time." I guess Mansfield, Ohio, right? Iceman Jack Whitey, plastic pin, not LED. And I say, it makes more sense. So that's the light bright thing. Like I said, if I get something factual wrong, put it out there. I like it. I like everything I'm ignorant about. Anything that can make me not ignorant of it, I'm all in favor of. I'm enthusiastic about that. Iceman Jack Whitey on the Christmas one. Yeah, when I was 8, I got a Ruger 1022. Is that an air gun or a 22 caliber rifle? Maybe air gun? Who knows? Okay, RV Life 289 on Havasu. Love that area. There's a boat tour. You can get all the information about London Bridge. There's also an SKP Park in Benson. That's east of Tucson. It's cooler than Yuma in the summer. Buckskin Mountain State Park does have... Oh, he's quoting buckskin, so maybe I said it wrong. Let's go down and look at Buckeye. It's buckskin. That was the problem, Ken. I screwed up the name. Buckskin Mountain State Park does have RV camping. Cattail State Park is a great state park near there. It's small but beautiful. I love that story about field day. We had those when I was growing up too. Also Saturday cartoons as well. Cool. You got to be grown up in the 60s to still at 65 be comfortable saying cool. It's cool. I'll never get over using that word. I don't even know, do kids even use that word anymore? There's probably a different term for the same thing. Let's see. Philip went to Tyson Wells Market this morning. Philip just got in. I got to maybe go over there, see if I can find him to meet him in person. Went to Tyson, because he said where he's camping. Went to Tyson Wells Market this morning looking for a mat and foldable chair. Went to a pet place. Went in the pet place mentioned, "I'm glad Rob went back and paid," and she laughed. She ended up not having what I needed at the moment, but pointed me in another direction. On my way to that, I found what I was looking for, $52, and I think I'm set for a bit. Bonus part of the comment. I have a cousin I haven't met living in Quartzsite. I got to meet her and her husband Wednesday for supper. It's good having someone local you can depend on if need be. Small world. Wow, that's great, Philip. You have family here. Holy mackerel. That's great. Phil, the jury's still out. It's his first time here, so he said, "I'm going to buy the 2-week thing and just make sure this is going to be a good thing for me." It's smart. Don't pay the $180 if you've never been here and you're not sure. Finding out, the worst case, it costs an extra $40. So at the end of 2 weeks, you go and you buy, if you're going to stay for a month or two more, you buy the $180 pass. M. Campbell says on the Havasu, "I think 1971, my parents and I took a road trip to see my brother in California. We made a stop to see London Bridge. The bridge, a visitor center, sales office, and far off in the distance, some low buildings was pretty much all that was there. The lake were done, but there were piles of dirt and construction equipment around the bridge. You could walk on the bridge, but no vehicles were allowed. It was blistering hot. My mom refused to get out of the car. I remember my father being less impressed and him saying that building a town out there in the middle of the desert was just plain crazy. he wasn't a man who was blessed with foresight. I guess not. At least not in that case, because Lake Havasu City has exploded. It's it's an expensive area. You know, I think I was, as I'm driving to Daryl's, you can see the footage of it. I'm looking at these houses in the neighborhood Daryl's in, and they look really nice, and you know, a lot of them have pools, and I'm thinking, I wonder how much these are. You know, be great if $150,000, $200,000. And the one next door to Daryl was for sale, and I asked Daryl, well, what do these go for? And he said the one over next door is over $600,000. I was like, $600,000? He goes, yeah. And I said, God, at least they have a pool like this one. He goes, no, they don't have a pool. I was shocked. It's not an inexpensive area. And it's very nice, but it's very crowded, and traffic is pretty terrible. And it's a lot of people. I wouldn't want to be spending my winter there. Maybe somewhere outside of it, in a BLM land or some BLM area, but in that, I wouldn't enjoy going into the city. It's just, on a Monday, it was just, you know, I went to the AT&T store, and if you wondered, did I buy an iPhone 16? Thank God I didn't. I don't need it. I have a 15. It's fine. We went into the AT&T store, and there was one employee and probably I think 9 or 10 people waiting for service. So it would have been several hours. And the guy says, I'm sorry, people called in. We're trying to get people to come in to help, but right now it's just me. And I had trouble finding a parking space. And I said, well, I was looking for a SIM card for my new Radiohead, right? So I said, well, I don't have to have an AT&T one. So I went next door. There was a Verizon and a T-Mobile in the same strip. All of them were just hours wait to see somebody. So I ended up going to a different Verizon store, and that's a whole nother story. In another part of town, and it wasn't busy, but that turned into a little bit of a nightmare. I won't even go into it. Ken Gray says, love the chat with Daryl, or Daryl, whichever one that was. I always say, this is my brother, this is my other brother, Daryl. And that's a reference to the Bob Newhart. Philip, again, if you come by, I'd be down for that for sure. Just be aware my dog isn't user friendly. I keep him in the car. But as far as location, I'm to the right of the vault toilet. If you're coming from the office, bring a chair if you want to chat. If I don't have two yet, just got a chair and a couple of mats at the moment. Just found 2 cousins live in Lake Havasu as well. If you come by, I'm in a Silver Equinox. If I'm not there, it won't be long to make it back. Pretty much just relaxing. Go to time for item inventory, heading right back. Not at the site. See point yet. I think he's saying if I'm not at the site, he will be. Come back again. I'll probably go out on my e-bike today and see if I can see him. Hey, Robin Dottie, I stayed at River Island State Park back in February. It's a nice park. I was in my van and got a tent site. The tent sites have the best view overlooking the Colorado River. Thank you for all the videos you put out. Keep them coming. That was Mike Coaster. And Coaster, interesting spelling. It's not like coaster, that kind of coaster. It is Koester. Road Warrior. Okay. This is on heating my RV boondocking in Quartzsite, which now has over 25,000 views. I'm 9 years full-time, 6 years with a wood-burning stove, 400 watts of solar. I love free. Greenhouse in the back of the truck. Improvise, adapt, overcome. And I'm like, good one. Wood-burning, for 6 years with a wood-burning stove. That's pretty cool. Let's see. RV Life on Lake Havasu. Wondering what Daryl mentioned about a tower heater. I have a radiator that's shaped like a tower, and I was wondering if that's what he was talking about. Daryl jumped in there and said the tower heater I'm talking about is just straight 101 element type. Radiant is different. I've seen several folks have electrical problems using those because they max out the circuitry once you add everything else that's plugged into the same breaker. And I said in their tower electric heaters, they use a heated coil. That's what he was mentioning. And RV Life responded, Daryl said, my radiator has some type of oil in it, needs to be upright. I think that's okay. Thanks for clarifying. Yeah, what you have, RV Life, is not what Daryl was referring to. And Naj says, hi, Robin, Dottie, beautiful road views. Wow, the famous London Bridge. Was it falling down? Look at the beautiful turquoise blue water. So beautiful. Thanks for sharing this with us. This place will go on my to-do list. That Jeep ride looks great, fun. Reminds me of when we used to go in my 4x4. My husband lifted 4x4 truck in Choi. In one of the scenes in the video, Daryl says, we're going to go up this. And to me, it looked like a cliff. It was a road that was going up the side of a cliff. And halfway up, it had like a 2 or 3 foot kind of hole. Big hole. I'm like, okay, Daryl. And on film, it looked like nothing. And you know what? It was nothing in that Jeep. It was nothing. It is amazing. It's a Rubicon that's kind of all outfitted for four-wheeling. A Jeep Rubicon. Virginia Hankey. I think the comment quote that I last heard, it was travels with Dottie, unquote, means it's traveling with you and Dottie, not the person that doesn't like your video, though you don't need to come along. There you go. Naj says, hey, Robin, Daryl, great comments. Video, love the conversation. I feel like I'm there with you guys, except it's not so cool here. Naj, my cousin had an easy bake oven we played with, but the mixes sometimes were hard to find. Never thought about that. They probably were hard to find. They probably came with a couple, right? Then what do you do? You need refills. Pup Camper 58. Love that video, Rob. That's Cheryl next door, neighbor. Tim Harris says Slinky was a favorite. Slinky. Those were cool. Those were fun. Hugh Marlowe Fraser. That's Marlowe, famous Canadian Marlowe from videos past, from years past. Wish I was there. Great to see you guys. I wish you were there too, Marlowe. We miss you both. Daryl and I miss you. Rob Hebbs. Oh, Rob, I waited and waited for you to read my comment. Then you finally did. You didn't understand it. Ugh. What I meant was how much of the shots at Randy's bar he's always standing behind. I assume he serves shots of drinks. Guess you didn't hung out at bars much. It's been many decades since I've hung out at bars. And it is like, I didn't think I showed anything like that. So you just must have known where I was, and that Randy has a bar, a wooden bar he stands behind and kind of holds court. So I'm sorry I didn't get it. Shelly Wilcox. Hey, just a friendly FYI, you might want to remove your friend's address from the sound of your GPS. Yeah, Shelly, that's a good call out, but I don't think Daryl cares. He saw the video. If he cared, he'd say something to me, and I'd take it out. And even if I took it out, then I'd have to sort of blank out the street that we're on as we're driving by and the number on the house. I think anyone that wants to stalk Daryl from this video, would not be a good idea. The Polkster. On the RV, heating my RV boondocking in Quartzsite. If you burn a gallon of any liquid fuel in unvented heater, for every gallon of fuel you will burn will result in the discharge of 1 gallon of water as a byproduct of combustion. I don't doubt that. Probably absolutely true statement. The next statement is not true. This condenses on everything colder, inner wall layers, windows, and cooler areas where it can cause mold, rot, and droplets of water. You know, I've had this debate with several people posting on this video. That is true in higher humidity environments where there's so much humidity already in the air can't absorb it, so it goes on surfaces. Like when I would use propane heat in Virginia in the winter, I wake up in the morning and the windows were just covered with moisture, with water dripping down there. In the desert here, where the humidity is 10%, right? I've got the heat on, It's toasty in here. It's 78 in here and 43 outside. And I can see the difference in humidity is it's 10% outside and 14% in here. So there's no moisture on any surfaces because there's enough to absorb in this atmosphere. So first part of the statement, I'm on board with you, right with you, man. But the second thing, it's dependent on the conditions. So there's nothing condensing on surfaces here. There's no mold building and anything rotting out because everything is bone dry because of the atmosphere. There we go. Wendy Sosa. Hey, Rob, I'm sorry my comment wasn't clear about the channel being named Travels with Dottie. That was the one Daryl and I were kind of baffled with. I totally meant it in a good way, which I knew, and I said, I'm sure he did, I just didn't understand. It's your channel, not anyone else's. Nobody should even feel the need to speak negatively about any of your content or try to give you, quote, advice on how to do your channel. And that she's right. And that's so totally different from the welcome comments like, you got the title wrong, the sound's not working, stuff that obviously I made a mistake, or Robbie said something that I think isn't true. You said the population of Norway was X, it's Y, and here's a link that shows the population. Educate me, please. But I don't like your style. I don't like your framing. I don't like your content. You're entitled absolutely to your opinion, and I'm not saying your opinion is invalid at all. I'm just saying if you don't like it, there's so many channels out there. You're going to find ones that meet your desires, right? For driving down the road, so many of my favorite guy, Rusty, I think it's 78605. I probably got that wrong. All right. I can't say the name of his channel and get it wrong. It's a zip code, but I can never remember it. It's Rusty, not Risty, Rusty. Rusty 78609 is a great channel. He does this kind of content. This is where I got the comments thing from. But he also does driving videos where you never see anything but the road. Never. And he just talks in the background. So that's I love that kind of content. You're going to get some of that with me, but it's not going to be, I do other stuff that I'd like to do. And Rusty has this great thing that he says when he reads the comment and he gets criticisms, he basically says, hey, you do you, I'll do me. I like that little thing. But Wendy's right. There's a difference between that. I don't need advice on how to do my channel, but I do need to be corrected when I make mistakes, and I welcome it. Wendy Sosa, again, another comment. I love the drive into Havasu. My brother and sister-in-law moved from Los Angeles to Havasu in 1983 and still happily living there. I used to visit often, but haven't since my oldest grandson was born over 16 years ago. I'm sure things have changed a lot. I bet it wasn't like the traffic jam mess it was. But the Black Bear Cafe was incredible. I really loved it. Thanks for taking us along for the ride. Oh, and guess what? You know what? The Black Bear Cafe thing is right now. I'm going to release it. That wasn't in that video. It's the one I'm releasing right now at 7:31 a.m. Mountain Time. And the positive news video is about repurposing closed schools in Detroit in California. So yeah, there it goes. Lake Havasu City and Black Bear Cafe. It's a short one, 8 minutes, an 8-minute video from Travels with Dottie. It's like, only 8 minutes? What's wrong? Okay. Robin Goff, I enjoy all your videos, Rob. That was good just chatting with you and Daryl. Thanks, Robin. And Jack Surfkowski, the more videos of yours I watch, the more I appreciate who you are and the more I like you. You're a very special person. It's not easy opening yourself up and letting the world see who you truly are. In my opinion, someone who must be confident in themselves to do this. My hat is off to you, sir." And I said, "Thank you, and I thank you." Looking hopefully directly at you, that's a very nice thing for you to say, Jack. And that looks like that was an hour ago. That could be the last one. Let me reload. And we have one more comment 7 minutes ago on the Lake Havasu special guest comments. "I'm so surprised about the negative feedback that's received on the Thanksgiving video. Personally, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the conversation. I felt like I was riding along with you. Keep up the good work. Stacy Jones." Thank you, Stacy. Anyway, that's today. And the video I'm going to do today, you may be very interested in, or you may not want to see it at all. One of the things I pride myself in being in Quartzsite is that I drop my trailer here in the middle of November, and I do not move it out of this spot until March. So I have water needs, and water needs are pretty easy. I just 6 gallons at a time from town, and I keep pouring it into the freshwater tank. And actually I have a little pump now that does it. That doesn't take much explanation. Dude, the wastewater, what they call the gray tank, is shower water and sink water, and then black tank is toilet water. It's 2 different tanks, and you have to empty those. And most people, you go, "Okay, I gotta hitch up my trailer, secure everything, bottle everything up, drive it to the dump station." It's a whole big production to move your camp, unless you do it like I do it. I have made for this a tote. It's 36 gallons. It's tough plastic. It sits in the bed of my pickup truck, and I have a pump. It's called a macerator pump on the end of the discharge line. And I use that pump that's powered by a solar generator, a power station that's in the back here. And I pump the waste into that. I drive to a special dump station just for that purpose, and I dump it. And the macerator pump and the hose that I use dedicated to that just sits attached and coiled up and ready to go, and it's easy peasy. So the video I'm making today is I'm going to do a first person perspective on how that process works, and that's for people that are interested in boondocking out here and want to solve that problem of having to move their rig every X number of days. For me, a single guy, that, if I want to take a shower, I'm probably going to take one a week maybe one shower every 2 weeks in the rig. Any other showers I pay my $11 in town. That's just a personal preference. I could dump my tanks more often, which wouldn't be a big deal. But between like once a week in the rig, maybe once a week in town, or once every 2 weeks in town when I do my laundry, because they have showers there. And these there's body wipes and these things called scrubs. They're a pad that you add water to, and it's got soap in it, and it's like you use one of these things and you feel freshly showered and clean, and it's wonderful. Anyway, so I'm going to do a first person perspective, real time, to show not only all the things, all the steps in doing it, but how long it actually takes real time, including the drive over to dump it, the actual dumping, the drive back, then putting everything away and saying, done. So that may not be your thing. So if you see that one, the thumbnail will be clear of what it's about. If that's no interest to you, I get it. I understand. This isn't going to be a viral video, but it's going to be a very useful video for some people. All right. See you tomorrow. And I so much appreciate you guys, your comments and watching this. Thank you.